Hey Rather Obvious fans, it's Wisdom Wednesday time again. As I contemplate what to do these talks on, I think about the wisest things I've heard. And the wisest things I've actually applied to my life. Yeah, I'm sure I've heard many wise things, but I'm here to talk about the ones that have stuck with me, that I've been able to use myself. This is another one from my dad. I'm thankful he drilled this into me. The topic is this: be observant. It was necessary to drill this into me, as I'd often go, and again, this is my dad saying this, but he would say I'd go off half-cocked. I would just jump into things without a care about my surroundings. I still sometimes do this with projects at work, but in real life and death situations, I make it a point to be observant. I observe behavior of cars in traffic many lengths ahead of me. I know where all of the traffic around me is, beside me and behind me. This is essential for a motorcycle rider. It's essential for anybody operating a motor vehicle, but especially a motorcycle rider. In fact, the main difference in written driving tests for cars and motorcycles is that there are items related to observance in the motorcycle tests, like scan, interpret, predict, execute, or slow and then look, and then lean and then roll. This is all well and good, but it goes far beyond this, so stay with me here. I have quite a bit to say about observance. Being observant to your surroundings, in my opinion, is essential. I know people that walk through life with blinders on. In a way, I think that we all have some sort of blinder that prevents us from seeing certain things. And I think these things are like mental blockages. I know I have some things that I just can't understand or execute properly, and the harder I try, the less effective I am. Being observant is paying attention to your surroundings. It's as simple as laying in bed and hearing a slight hissing noise that to most people would be nothing. But upon further investigation, even at 2 a.m, you realize that it was a hose left on, potentially about to fill your basement with water. And because you are aware or observant of your surroundings, you are able to turn the faucet off and save a flooded basement. It can be as complicated as waiting for a table and watching the movements of every person that enters the restaurant that you're in. And you see somebody acting not quite right. So you decide, instead of waiting 45 minutes for a table, you take your wife and you leave, to find out later that the restaurant was actually robbed by that suspicious person. Or it could be that you're walking back to your parked car a few blocks away in downtown Denver, and you notice a person standing in a shadow, so you cross the street just to avoid a possible conflict or mugging. With being observant comes some downside too. You tend to be overly cautious as you see potential dangers around you. You tend to miss out on some things because you aren't willing to take a risk to be in a situation that you can't know all of what's going on around you. Like you won't go on to a crowded dance floor, or a concert, or other situation where you don't have immediate cover and control. I think another reason I'm so observant is because I have very little natural ability to interpret people's behavior. I have to watch them, how they move, how they hold their hands, the position of their head, how deeply they're breathing, the pitch of their voice. I have to consciously think about these things, and have to think to myself, is this person happy, sad, disturbed, angry, etc.? I have to take the whole context of the situation which I'm in, talking to this person, into account in order to know how to respond appropriately. I have never been to a psychologist to determine if this is an actual issue with me. It's just how I've learned to live. There are known disabilities out there that very closely match these symptoms that I have. And not just instinctively knowing if a person is sad or mad or indifferent or bored. I have to interpret consciously these things, and then respond intentionally to them. This disability of mine has cost me friendships, especially when I was younger. It still drives wedges between potential friendships of mine, especially online or via text, as the only thing I have to interpret any feeling on is the words they have written on my screen. If you know me personally, or at least virtually, and I've seemed insensitive to you, this is most likely why. I am truly sorry. And please know you've not done anything to offend me or make me not respond in the way which I think I should have. I just honestly don't know how to react to some things. I have the hardest time with things that I don't experience very often, as I learn every time that I'm in certain situations. Those things are dealing with death, sickness, terminal illnesses. I honestly don't know how to respond emotionally. And emotionally, I understand the sadness, but my fear is that my reciprocation of that sadness could be interpreted as not genuine, as I honestly have to interpret how to respond to how people are acting. I am genuinely sorrowful, I just don't know how to react. There isn't a correct way to react to the loss of somebody, or to the news that a dear friend or relative has a terminal illness. It's even harder when it's not directly happening to you, but your friend's friend has passed or is ill. Writing all of this down helps me. Reading it aloud helps me more. You listening and understanding is a great bonus. The feelings are inside, and the written English language helps me to express them in words that I can't always portray through facial expression, body language, and spoken words. If you're my friend, and you're hearing this for the first time, this isn't something I really share very often, except publicly on an online source now. But it came out because of how hopeful I am that somebody else can be observant too, to see that I do care, that I don't just always know how to show it. Be observant. It can save your life. It can help your relationships. It can change your world. Be open to see what's around you, to really see it. Don't just assume that what you assume is really happening that's what it is. But observe it. Prove it to yourself. Be observant. That's my wisdom for this Wednesday. Ryder Obvious, signing out.